I'm coughing now because I guess I have corona, huh? Yeah. I'm kidding, obviously. So, I hope you all can hear me. I wanted to chat a bit today about the coronavirus scare, the coronavirus outbreak, all the things that people are having trouble and worries and concerns about it. I've spoken about it before. I'm going to speak about it again because people have been asking me, "Hey, Larry, what would you do, right? If you were governor, what would you do if you were president? What would a libertarian do? What are the answers to this?" And of course, I have lots of them. Of course I would, right? Of course I would have lots of answers for this. And I want to make sure that I explain them from two separate levels if I could. One from a state level as what a governor should do, and one at the national level, what a president should do. And I also have to cover two different aspects of this. Aspect number one is the encouragement or leadership aspect, right? The emotional side of this, which has value, and the actual action. What should I do? The policy part, the logical aspect of this. Both are valuable, both matter. So let me start first, if I could, with New York State. If I had won the governorship, which obviously I didn't 2 years ago, but if I had, I would have already been trying, prior to this happening, building out more local communities and more local help already. But let's say I had failed at that. I was trying that, it didn't work, and I was stuck at this point right now when the coronavirus hits. The first thing I'd be doing, number one, is immediately telling all the local communities, guys, I need your help. There is no way centralized control can fix this thing on its own. We can help and we can support, but I need your help. And right now, you look around, most of these people who, local charities, local civic associations, Lions Club, Rotary, Knights of Columbus, American Legion, all these places, they struggle, right? Local churches struggle. Local temples struggle. Hey, here's a way. Start helping. How do I do that? A couple things. Number one, I physically tell them, please help. I need your help. Number one, I encourage people to assist. Number one, that's the encouragement piece. But now the actual laws and things that will help the actual policy. Number one, end all prohibition on distilling. I'm not joking. Allow people to make alcohol. Why in the world is New York State, for those of you who are not in New York State, you may not know this, New York State decided that what it was going to do is have the state create hand sanitizer and then give that away to New Yorkers. What a terrible idea that was. Instead, put a total moratorium, total suspension of any type of distilling or making of alcohol, any laws against it in New York State. Allow local communities to literally create their own hand sanitizer, create their own cleaning products, create them themselves. What a great way to get people involved in the local community to do that. Not just that. Now, if local communities create these things, they can give them out or sell them or have donations or whatever is the way to support local communities. Now, does it mean that the local stores shouldn't also be selling it? Of course they should. But they ran out. So what do? Instead of allowing communities to help or allowing these local stores to pack up more, to sell more, we did two things. We said, New York State will create it and give it away so now local communities can't grow. And two, we use prison labor to ensure that it will be cheaper than everybody else. How horrible is that? So instead, allow local communities to do this. I'm still not done. On top of that, we have laws in New York State, and you may have in your state also, that stop churches and places like that from having cots or instead of sleeping facilities in their basements and in their other rooms. These rules are against the law. You can't do that. They break building codes. I would suspend all of those for at least 3 months. Why? Well, here's a problem. If I have a household with mom and dad and grandma and kids, grandma and grandpa could be in trouble. Kids, probably not. Adults, probably not. Maybe, but probably not. The elderly, they're in trouble. If I have a baby, they're in trouble. Where are they going to go? Well, what if I can't afford to put them in a home? Well, how about my local civic association can literally have a space where medical personnel can volunteer to go there, wear the masks, defend themselves, wash their hands, do whatever they have to do as if it's a hospital, and give them the next best thing to a hospital when the person isn't ill yet. You have people who can give first aid if something goes wrong to get people to the hospital if required, or instead give them a place to go. Oh my God, what a crazy idea. That's not a good idea. You don't want to do that for your local community. You don't want to put the elderly in the same area. No worries. Now that's childcare. They've closed the schools. So now that's childcare. You now could have a childcare facility for these kids. Again, end these unnecessary rules and regulations for at least 6 months. Now I know the hardcore libertarians go, forever. I got it. Give me 6 months. Watch how it works. Then people won't care. Give us 6 months to do this. Talk about local people helping and try to get people to help, allowing them to get together, help each other, and move on. That's not enough. That's just one piece. There's far more. Let me keep moving on from the state level. On top of that, I want to create digitally all of the prevention required, that people should know digitally. So either I put that online, or I email that to all the church groups, or I email that to all the civic centers, or to their headquarters, and allow them to email it out and have everyone have all the actual information required, being as transparent as possible. It isn't that this is good or bad. This is both. The issue is, let's be transparent. Let them go out and do it. Why in the world am I not allowing these people to, once they see this, instructions on how to create a hand sanitizer, how to create a virus testing kit, all those things. Go do it in your local communities. Why not? But Larry, if we don't do this, if the church does it, or the civic group does it, or the Lions Club does it, or whatever does it, oh my God, then they might do it wrong. We have nothing now, and we still do it wrong. Government is just people. Now, if government does it wrong as a massive whole, all 18 million New Yorkers suffer. If one local group does it wrong, they suffer. That's bad, but only they suffer. And if they have a problem, what do? They call government to come in and assist. Again, government can be more like a fire department. When you need us, call, we come. But if you got this covered, we got you. But I'm still not done. I want to go out there and show people the truth. The odds are, if you're a healthy adult, this probably is not going to hurt you. I'm sorry, not going to kill you. Sorry, it can hurt you. It's probably not going to kill you. We can't just quit and stop. So I'd be out there. I am out there. I literally showed a picture. I was on a subway on Friday. I'll be on a subway tomorrow. I have to go work. I've got to make money. I'm going to go out there and do that. However, I am protecting those people who are at risk. I have some people in my life who have have a compromised immune system, who've had cancer scares, and who are elderly. I don't go see them. I don't physically see them. Now, do I talk to them? Yes, because the next thing I must be doing is, while I'm out doing this, I must be promoting technology solutions for everything. This is the perfect time to be doing this. So I spend time Skype, Zoom, regular phone call. Yes, call the people you love who are at risk. Don't leave them alone, but just don't physically go meet them. I don't do that. I don't physically meet any of them now, and I sometimes used to. Now I don't, because I don't want to hurt them. They are vulnerable. If you have people at risk, protect them. Stay away from them. However, you can call them. I would be encouraging that, telling people to do that. That's how you build local support, through that, right? The other advantage you see is this shows, without question, all the holes in a centralized situation. Let's begin repairing them. But I'm still not done. I have to take all payroll tax in New York State, suspended for 6 months. No payroll tax, 6 months. We're talking about just writing checks for people. And that's nice, I guess. It's UBI in another way. But why don't I write a check to somebody and they lose their job? How about, instead of writing a check to somebody, I suspend all payroll tax for 6 months? Now, the problem, of course, is that's going to hurt our New York State debt. I get it. The debt's going to go up. There's no way around that, sadly, because of the way our system works. But if I'm going to create debt, I want to at least create debt where I have a chance of getting my money back, which means I keep people employed. People don't leave my state. People stay here. The odds of someone staying employed shoot up tremendously if I'm saying no payroll tax for 6 months. Not just that. New York State has followed the terrible state of California in attacking all of these gig economy jobs, right? No one can be a contractor. They all have to be employees. Hammer them with all these things. No, end all of them. Allow for the gig economy to thrive like there's no tomorrow. Allow it to thrive. That's how we're going to grow out of this, guys. Recovery is not going to come from businesses because they're going under. Recovery is going to come from the gig economy. The people doing the side hustles, the people doing all of the other issues and little jobs here or there to learn new stuff, to get new jobs, and we're devastating it in California, New York, and states of following. End those immediately. Allow people to hustle the way they want to. Because here's what no one's understanding. Our economy is being exploding and growing based upon gig economy. The millennials, many of them are gig economists, that makes sense, work in a gig economy, and they're out there spending their discretionary money on all kind of cool things. That's how our economy still keeps going. Now that we've stopped that, we're screwed. So don't do that. Instead, let people go out and work the way they want to work. And if it scares people, fine. Do it for a year. Again, I know you hardcore libertarians, forever. Do it for a year. Watch how we begin to pop up and get back up. We can let it go. We can. I'm still not done. No, none of these prohibitions on restaurants and businesses. What a horrible idea this is. This is a terrible idea. The government has destroyed the economy. You just said everyone businesses shut down. How are they going to pay their bills? How are they going to keep people? How are they going to pay their rents? How are they going to pay their mortgages? What a terrible idea. Instead, this may sound crazy. Instead, as I said, transparency. Have my eggheads, my smart guys, come up with ideas for the safest way to run your restaurant. We just saw the Democrats. They just did a debate. What did they do? They had the podiums 6 feet or more apart, right? That's a change for the coronavirus, right? They had no crowd outside. That's a change for the coronavirus. Surely there is a similar thing with restaurants. Maybe you have to make your restaurants be further out, your patrons be further apart. Maybe you have to have different safety rules for your kitchen, or maybe you have to have, cleaner this or cleaner that. Whatever. Come up with those guidelines. Post them clearly. Let everybody know. And then now you have your inspectors who right now are going through hammering people and punishing them. Instead of inspecting to say, you are following the rules or you're not. Here is your stamp. When people see that, they'll feel safe. They'll go. Now, obviously, if you are someone with a compromised immune system, or if you're elderly, please don't go out. Please don't do that. But if you want to, go ahead. And that sounds horrible. And I say this from my own life. And this may sound terrible, but I don't get to decide your life. I don't. You do. Both of my parents died of cancer. My father was younger. Took him 2 years to die. He died at 41, and he died of gastrointestinal cancer. When he was dying, all he wanted to do was live. He wanted to live. He wanted quantity of life and not quality of life. Sadly, he passed, but he said, do anything it takes to keep me alive. And that was his right. It's his life. My mother had seen him die, and many of her friends died of cancer. And when her time came, she'd have lung cancer. She was like, I don't want quantity of life. I want quality of life. And if I can't have quality of life, I'm okay dying. That was my mother, and that was her right. And it's yours too. If you're at risk, I would ask you, please don't go out. Please protect yourself. But if you want to go out and risk yourself, it is your life. I want you to know what you're up against, know what you're doing, know what you could be, how you could be hurting yourself. But it's your life, not mine. And if quality of life matters more than quantity, okay, that's on you. But I'd ask you not to. So if you're in that issue, don't do that. But now we can actually set up protocols for small businesses to actually figure out how to run safe businesses during virus outbreaks, which there's going to be more. And right now our answer is shut it down. That's our answer. So every time there's a viral outbreak, our economy shuts down. How stupid is that? This is our opportunity now to figure out what should be done. What are the appropriate protocols when we have this kind of outbreak to keep our businesses going? And guess what? Some people are going to mess up, but some aren't. And now we're going to have the right ideas for the future to make sure we can build this out. Those local institutions that will have the extra beds, that will have the facilities and the experience to build to make hand sanitizer and to make cots or whatever is required, or testing kits. They're not going to forget that. That becomes the precedent. So now in the future, if the government collapses or can't do its job, awesome local people can. They remember how. They know how. We don't want to just stop. We're hitting everything with a stick when we should be saying, let's use this as an opportunity to get better. So this whole idea of ending and you can't go and don't do this and shut your business down is nothing but a terrible idea. I'm in New York City. Broadway shut down. Think of all the actors now who are crushed. Think of all the new people who are crushed. They're all devastated. All you're doing is pushing people to work for big business and to work for government. Already America, 1 in 7 Americans works for government. We want 1 in 3? Is that what we want? Big business and government's everything? It's going to destroy us. We're not going to recover if we keep doing this. And worst, people will see that and they will purposely punish us. We have to create new norms. This is the time to do that. This is how we can recover. Not just that. This school idea. Let's shut all the schools down. Okay. All right. If you feel it's appropriate, you can. But how about instead, let's do what we should have been doing years ago. Years ago. Support homeschooling for those who want it. That's not everybody, but some people do. And for those who want it, awesome. Support them. And not just that. Support technology that educates our kids. The concept that we still take our kids, shove them into a school, a building, and have them sit in a row and learn something and go home is that's industrial era learning. Many of you right now who are listening or watching me, you're working from home. I've worked from home this week and I'll go in also. I'll do both. So why can't you go to school from home too? It's the same thing. Teaching them for the future. Why aren't we doing that? Perfect time to do this. Perfect time to shift a school into a technology environment right now. Why aren't we doing that? I also want us to stop begging for help from the federal government. It is a terrible idea. Every time we beg for help from the federal government, 2 things happen. 1, strings are attached, guaranteed. And 2, those strings never go away. They don't go away. Whatever rules and regulations they put into place are going to stay, even when the virus is finished, right? We do it all the time, right? Our KYC, know your customer rules for when the terrorists were going to attack us. They're not anymore, and we still have those rules, right? TSA, when the baggers attack us, useless, we still have those rules. This is going to happen too. They're going to be strings attached to the money they're going to give us. Remember, they're not giving us money. It's our money. This isn't free money. It's not like, oh, wow, there's money we found in the street. Here it is. No, we owe it. More debt, more debt, more debt. Let's stop begging for help. The next piece. When it comes to helping people in general, New York State, the specific New York State, some states have similar rules. We have certificates of need for medical facilities. Perfect reason to end that horrible idea, meaning you can't put a hospital or medical facility someplace unless the government says it's okay. Wow, is that stupid? And we're still doing that in my state. Wow, what a very stupid idea. You can see in anything non-essential, LASIK eye surgery, cosmetic dentistry, they put up their facilities wherever they want, and somehow it's working. Yeah, somehow we'll figure it out, right? We can do that. But not just that. End all the rules that have doctors who can and cannot go to hospitals, who can and cannot do house calls, and all of those. Let medical personnel do what they feel is best to support each other and allow them to go wherever they want. And in New York State, you'd be licensed in New York State to practice medicine in New York State. So like Connecticut is not good enough for my state. Again, wow, is that stupid? And that. If you're a doctor in any state in the United States, I trust you enough. The states are good enough. You're a medical professional. It's fine. Let doctors and nurses and medical personnel go to wherever they need to go to help the people who need help. Why in the world we stop them? This is a terrible idea. Last, for the recovery. As we begin to recover, we have to take these licensing rules for small business owners and suspend all of them for the next 6 months to a year. Just suspend them. Let people go out and make money the way they want to make money without licensing. They have to say that what they're doing is unlicensed. Transparency is key. They must say, I'm not licensed to do X, Y, or Z. However, I'm doing it because I want to pay my bills. So I'm doing it because I want to pay my bills. You as the consumer decide, do you trust them or not? If you don't, no worries. Don't go there. If you do, give the guy, gal a shot. Let them pay their bills. We're going to have to recover. The worst part about this actually isn't going to be the amount when it comes to the amount. I'm sorry. If you lose a loved one or you already have lost a loved one, that's the worst part for you. So I don't want to. I've lost loved ones in my life. Many of you watching have lost a loved one. That is the worst if you lose a loved one. Most of us aren't going to lose a loved one. And if you don't, the worst part for you is going to be the financial. It's going to be the devastation here. So how about we back off these licenses? How about we let people go off and do the work? And again, temporary, 6 months, a year. It's a crisis, right? And if we can have a crisis to crush people and to bring troops in and to force you to be on the street going, where are your papers? Can you be outside? And we're all of a sudden a police state. Then you know what? We can do this to help people out. We can do both. That's what I would be doing as governor to fix this state. And I'd be literally on TV every day, and I'd be traveling the state saying, I'm traveling, I feel safe, I'm going to go. And if I get corona, and I might get corona. If I get the virus, I'll get it. I hope I don't die. If I die, I'm telling you now, I'm this on record, I still did the right thing. Sometimes you got to sacrifice. Sometimes you got to roll the dice. That's how life is. And if you're going to be a leader, you got to be prepared to sacrifice. You got to be prepared to roll the dice sometimes. I'm rolling them. Fine. And if it happens, I'm doing it now. I'm going to the city tomorrow. I'll be in Manhattan tomorrow. Could happen. I hope it doesn't. But I never point my finger at you until I pointed at me first. And I'm pointing at you, as I do often, but I'm pointing at me first. So if I was governor, I'd be doing that too. Let me move to another piece if I could. That was heavily New York based, but probably local for you. Things you should be doing, the way you should be thinking, what you should be correct, what you should be trying to achieve. But let me go to the national level. The problem with the national level, number one, is it was not transparent. Now, I know I beat up a Democrat governor. I'm going to beat up a Republican president. So I got both you guys. So everyone will be mad at me, hopefully equally. So transparency was critical, and it wasn't. It was not transparent, at all. It was, let's try to cover things over. Should have been transparent right away. This is what we know. This is what we don't know. Now, it doesn't mean that panic goes away. It doesn't mean conspiracy goes away. But the more transparent you are, the less panic you'll have and the less conspiracy you'll have. You will still have panic and you will still have conspiracy, but you'll have less of them. Not just that. The second this popped up in other countries, we should have sent our experts over there to say, what's going on? What do you know? What do you see? So we could prep here. Off the bat, we can prep here. Absolutely. Number one. Number two, regional meetings. Why isn't the president meeting with, New England governors and then Western governors and then Southeastern governors and Midwestern governors? Insert thing here. Letting them know, I'm here. If you need me, I got your back. Let me tell you what our experts know. Here's the information you can have. Here's how I can help your people out. Boom. That makes people feel like, okay, I'm on this. If this is so important, that's all that should matter. That's it. We talk often about experts. You know what? Let's take the experts, focus down their information, and give it to everybody. And we'll see it the way we want to see it. We'll take it if we want to take it, or maybe we won't. I hope we'll take it. That would be important to me. I hope we do. But similar to the state side, I want to focus now, if I'm president, on having technology answers for everything. Let's push our entire nation forward. Let's start saying, you know what? Why do we have to go to work every day? Why can't we do some things via technology? Why can't we use technological answers? Why are we doing all these things? We can start to do these types of things right now. Let's talk about it. As an example, let's begin to fix the problems that we have where, Why are we going to schools the same way? I go back to schools, government schools again. I know some people being very happy when I'm saying the government school piece, but I'll bring it up anyway. Why don't we use this time, if you're at the DOE in DC, why aren't you saying, you know what? Let's end all testing, some nationalized testing except for high school. Why don't you 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade? Why? They're getting crushed right now because of this. You know what? End it. Let's get rid of that stress. Let's end that right now. Let's move us forward. But I'm going to go something that's even more radical. What I think you're hearing people talk about is the idea of the federal government just giving money out. And that's probably going to happen, sadly. Just giving money out. I think this is not the right answer. Now, to be forward, some of you guys who are anti-Fed are going to be upset. The Fed is going to put us into far more debt because of this. There's literally nothing we can do about it. We can't stop it. That is going to happen. And our $23 or $24 trillion debt is going to shoot up to whatever, 26, 27, whatever that number is. That's going to happen. That sucks, and that's going to happen. Here's how we make it better, though. Literally, just as executive order. If you can executive order write checks, if you can executive order, then you know what? Executive order, every financial institution that does business in the United States, everyone will can accept voluntarily, I'm sorry, so I'm going to be clear, does not require for at least 3 months, maybe 6, depending on how bad this is, 3 to 6 months, any payments. None. No financial institution. If you have money and you're in a good spot and you want to pay your debt, please pay it if you're in that spot. But you don't have to. The banks literally may not force you or punish you. The credit bureaus may not in any way, shape, or form punish you if you don't pay your financial institution's debt for the next 3 to 6 months, depending how bad this is going to be. They must know what the right answer is. I don't know what the right answer is on this one. Whatever, you can't pay. You don't have to pay. Think about this for a second. What if someone writes you a check for $1,000, whatever that is, the UBI that Yang does? Nice, but you're still screwed. You still got no job. Nice. But what if instead you don't have to pay your car note for 6 months? You don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months. You don't have to pay your credit cards for 6 months. You don't have to pay any of those for 6 months or 3 months, whatever the right number is. Not just that, your employer doesn't have to pay that for 3 or 6 months. Your landlord doesn't have to pay that for 3 to 6 months. You can catch up from this damage. You can keep your job. Your boss can keep you. Why? They're not paying payroll tax if you follow my New York State concept, and they don't got to pay their mortgages. They don't got to pay their credit cards or their debts for 3 to 6 months. They can survive with you still functioning and working. They can take that time to retool their business to work now through technology. They can do that and create a new norm. But Larry, the banks will have money. The banks are going to get money from the Fed, as I mentioned. The Fed is literally, and those of you who know about the Fed, is just going to make money and hand it to banks. They're already doing it. The interest rate is almost at zero. They're basically saying, please take our money. We'll pay you to take our money. That's about where they are. That's going to happen anyway. The difference is, if we don't do that and give people checks, they're still going to go out of business. They're still going to lose their jobs. They're still going to fall behind on their car payment or anything else. They're still going to fall behind on that and lose it. But if the big banks don't get paid for 3 to 6 months, so what? They will literally make the money from the Fed within 3 to 6 months. I know you hardcore libertarians are mad at me when I say that, but you know it's going to happen anyway. You know that's going to happen anyway. So how about instead, let's do it the right way, where we get to retool. We get to create a new norm. If you're someone struggling and someone writes you a check for $1,000, that's nice. But imagine you don't have to pay your bills for 3 months. You can survive. You can find a new job. You could learn something. You could do something. You could actually do it. That's my point. The country could retool itself. And the banks will get over it. They always get over it. We know this. They're not going under. They're not. It doesn't matter. We can do this. I know you're saying, Larry, it sucks, more debt. More debt anyway. Do you hear what they're talking about? Talking about giving free insurance, free food, writing checks. Where's that money coming from? Our debt. It's going to happen anyway. But the problem is if they start writing checks, they're literally bribing your vote. They're literally bribing you for your vote. If Governor Cuomo gives you the check, he's going to say, see, New York State, I gave you a check, vote for me. If Trump does it, see, I gave you a check, vote for me. They're buying your votes. It's horrible. It's unethical. It's wrong. Instead, the big banks are in league with our government anyway. The Fed is in league with our government directly anyway. Just do that. You can see how that will help everyone to get over this. Time to retool. You don't have to add any more rules. You don't have to add any more money. You don't got to write any more checks. None of that. And if someone is already, say someone's already on public assistance where it doesn't affect them, doesn't matter for that person. They just get to hang out and raise a little extra cash so they don't pay their credit card bill that month. Good for them. And if you're struggling, you just got a 6-month reprieve. What if you're in a gig economy and you ain't Ubering no more, or you can't Grubhub, or you're a waiter or a waitress, you're a server, then what? What are you going to do now? What if you own a store, own a restaurant? That $1,000 check, that's nothing. You're finished. And you're going to fire all your employees. Don't have to pay your rent and your mortgage for 3 to 6 months. You can survive. You can survive. We can get past this and move on. What this has shown us is the holes in our centralized control. Now, the sad part is most people are saying, well, if we only had more centralized control, if we only had more of an iron fist, then everything would be fine. That's what people are saying. I'm saying the opposite. Let's set this up for the future. Look, there's a saying, it says, you've heard it, let's not let any crisis go to waste. Okay, I agree. But not to take advantage and push my agenda. Instead, to give us all a bit more freedom. To allow us all to be more successful and more powerful. How about that? This is what we've done. Look, there's something else here. If I'm at the federal level, I also want to try to remove, as I mentioned earlier, the idea of doctors not being able to go across borders in our country. We should have reciprocity completely, right? There's a minor thing that's also happening, by the way, is people are using this, particularly local states doing this, using this to try to stop gun sales. You've seen this before, right? Stop gun sales. This is hurting. If you're someone who doesn't like guns, and I get it if you don't like guns, good for you if you don't like guns, no worries. If you don't like guns, the last thing you want is this. When gun owners think you're going to take their guns, they buy more guns. That happens every single time. In fact, most gun owners think Trump is pro-gun. He's not. But they think he is. So the gun shops have said it's called the Trump slump, meaning gun sales aren't very high because the population believes that Trump is pro-gun. He's not. But they believe that. So they don't buy. You start saying you're going to, stop people from buying guns, they're going to buy more. Now, if you like guns, you don't like that because it makes you angry. If you don't like guns, you still shouldn't like it because it makes people buy more guns. This is a terrible idea. This idea of locking things down, bringing the government in, it sets terrible precedent. And that's the biggest issue here, right? I hope I've expressed to you what should be done in a libertarian-minded way of fixing these problems. It is looking at them from reality, trying to work in a way that allows the individual to grow from it, trying to get the people to be more, allowing people to not be centralized, but instead each individual person or group of people coming up with solutions that will help us out for now and the future, right? If we have centralized control and one person screws up, we're finished. This one we don't. Here are the bigger problems that we're going to be looking at here in the future that we need to start to be worrying about. The first one is particularly in states like New York and in cities like New York City. We have very pro-renter laws. If you're a renter, tons of laws are all in your favor. More last year. This is going to destroy the the person who owns 1 or 2 or 3 units. If you're a small business owner who owns 2, 3, 4 units, you're finished. You sell your house. You're done. And you're going to sell to a big developer. Because if you have 4 units, 3 units, and 1 or 2 of your guys can't pay their rent, and they're not going to be able to thanks to this, they're not going to be able to. You can't evict them. You can't do anything. You still have to pay all your bills, and you might have lost your job. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose that. That building's gone. You're done. Now, if you're a big developer, you've got 400, 800, 1,000 units. You'll get over it. You'll deal with it. You'll borrow against it. You'll be fine. You'll buy up all the little guys and you'll get bigger. You're going to see happening, particularly in all those states that are so pro-renter, the little guy gets completely destroyed and the big developers, 2, 3, 4 big developers, depending on your city, are going to control almost everything. We have to look at that and realize these pro-renter laws, and I'm not against renters, I'm not. But the pendulum has swung so far to protect the renter and to make the landlord as evil. The big landlords can survive it. The little ones can't. The next thing, all these pro-worker laws that people think are so great and so awesome, they're going to destroy us. Is it AB 5, I think it is, in California? They're doing the same thing here in New York, all over the place, where everyone's assumed to be an employee and has to pay all the rules and pay all the fees and all the issues and concerns with being an employee. Who's going to hire them? Yes, the people who have jobs will probably have better jobs. That's true. There'll be less people who have it. We need all the people who don't. You're going to push people to working for only big business or for government. You are crushing the small business owner, the entrepreneur. You are crushing innovation. It is destroying us. Next, all the anti-gig rules. You heard me speak about these rules that are going to crush us. Literally for years, I've been telling you how bad these rules and laws are. You're going to see them crush us in this next year or two right now. Right now. You stop saying Uber can't do what it wants. Airbnb, you can't do that. Devastated. It's going to crush the small guy. They're all going to be. You're going to have so many people who are going to be on public assistance or working directly for the government. It is going to change what it means to live in this country. If we don't adjust this now, it's going to stifle our recovery. It's going to crush our economy. The way out of this recovery is going to be entrepreneurship, gig economy. We can't stop that. The problem is the restrictions that are going to come in, as I said, they're not going to leave. But here's the biggest thing. You're going to find people talking about UBI. UBI is, for those who don't know, Universal Basic Income. It's the idea that Yang brought up, the $1,000 a month. Tulsi Gabbard brought the idea of UBI. Now, I'm not a UBI guy. Many of you know why I'm not a UBI guy. But I'm just going to tell you the truth. It's going to be a better answer than everything else I'm going to throw at you. Because so many people are going to be out of work. So many people are going to be devastated. You're going to see people saying, UBI sounds good. That Yang guy was so smart. You're going to see that begin to happen. And in the end, of course, big banks will win. Because big banks always win. They're going to win in the end. You're going to watch so many small businesses collapse. Because who's going to want to give money to the small business owner? He can't survive. They're only going to give loans to big business because they can survive. It's going to happen again and again and again. The amount of bankruptcies are going to happen is going to be crazy. Think about all the kids now who can't pay their student loans and they can't even go bankrupt. They can't go bankrupt. What's going to happen? Someone's going to say, we should forgive all student loans. And they're going to, and that's going to add another $1 trillion to our debt. Debt, debt, debt. This coronavirus, if we don't take it as a way of getting better, is going to devastate us. We're going to look back at this 10, 20 years from now and go, that was it. That was tipping point. That was a tipping point right there. That we didn't take charge at that point. That's it. We're going to say that if we don't act. You can see the writing on the wall. I see it. You see it. I've been talking about this for 2 years. Please tell people this is a bad thing. We don't just want to go, please, 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 federal government, save us. The more that we do that, remember something. The more you add government, the more you take away community. The more you take away community, the more you take away personal pride, the more you take away personal accomplishment, the more you take away personal responsibility. Now everything's government's fault. Everything's government's everything. And I'll give you a little bit of a joke, which you may enjoy. Some of you may have enjoyed the movie V for Vendetta. Remember what started the entire government takeover in that movie? Yeah, a pandemic. Right? It was some disease or something that attacked England, and all of a sudden, all the rules came into play, and they never went away. They never went away. Yeah. People who are afraid do bad things. People who are afraid make bad decisions. The number one problem that we've had in this country, from Democrats and Republicans, at the state level and the federal level, is we haven't had good leadership, encouragement, and we haven't had somebody say, go do. We've been looking for a savior. I don't want a savior. I want tens of thousands of heroes. I want an army of heroes, not a savior. An army of heroes. We can only do that if we believe in ourselves. If there's someone to go, you can do it. Go, do it. I'm in. I got your back. I'm going to push aside those silly regulations and rules that have been holding us back forever. I'm going to let you go off and do it and be great. And you know what? When you're great, take some people with you and help some others with you. You can do this. It can happen. I know I chatted a lot today. I did about, 45 minutes on this. I just talked. I did it because people were asking me what we should do and how we should do it. So I'm going to look real fast at some comments that I have and try to answer some of them. Here, Aaron says they should open fishing and hunting seasons and drop the licensing. You could catch your dinner. Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Why in the world would they be doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to stop people from doing this? This is from Todd. Hi, Larry. I'm the co-founder of NYCDO. What are your thoughts on rumors that martial law is coming in next 2 weeks? You know, there was a time when I thought there'd be no chance for martial law in New York City because it's too tough to control. How do you control it? 8 million people. Oh, my God. That's what I thought. I'm wrong. New Yorkers, sadly, many of them are begging for it. We just can't wait to have someone come and tell us what to do. I wish that wasn't true. Sadly, it's pretty much true. So I wish it wasn't true. It just is. It just is. So Randy writes, more pandemic equals more government power. Yes, Randy, but it doesn't have to, right? It doesn't have to. For those of you who know what happened here in New York State with me, when I won ballot access, I lost the election, obviously, but when I won ballot access for the Libertarian Party in New York State made me officially the chair of the party. I stepped down. My first official act was to run the election to find my replacement. Yeah. You don't have to take power, right? You don't have to be the guy who runs everything. Not required. I don't want you to do what I say because you fear me or because I have some badge or I'm going to shake my fist at you. I want you to do what I'm telling you because you think it makes sense. Because you believe in me or trust me. Because you think, yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to do what Larry says. That's what I want. That's why I spend so much time trying my best to show you that. Right? I'm trying my best to show you that. Someone says, Ken says, V for Vendetta reference. It's already happened. It's called the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act is actually more like 1984, right? 1984 talked more about the idea of perpetual war, and that was creating the police state. V for Vendetta was a bit different. It was a crisis. One crisis. It was a big one. I think in the movie 100,000 died, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the movie that well, but I think it was 100,000 people died. That created. So similar, but both are a little bit different. All right. Paul says, if I'm starving, I'm going to go fishing license or not. Yeah. And if I'm governor, I'm not going to put you in jail because of it. Right? I'm not going to put you in jail because of it. It's silly. Now, people are saying, well, Larry, what about self-quarantining? Here's the issue. People are doing it already. Don't you see it? They're voluntarily doing it already. All over the place. If you give people, local communities, the real answers, you will watch how most people will voluntarily go, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna. And here's the funny part. You were finding people already, and this is shutting down schools. Both my daughters go to public school here in New York City. They even said it. There were people, they could see there was a 40% drop in attendance before they closed the schools. People were already doing it. My youngest daughter was sick. So she didn't have COVID-19, something else. So I kept her home. Yeah. She says she's compromised. I'm not going to put her into the school system. People are doing it already. Businesses were beginning to shut down. People were already starting to it was already happening. If those of you saw it, businesses were already starting to go towards the takeout model. This was already happening. So what could we have done? Told them how important it was as early as possible, giving them the opportunity to make that shift, but instead, hammer them. How many nightclubs who are only open 3 days a week? They're done. Pack up. They're finished. Pack up. They're finished. Terrible idea. I really want to make sure that we understand how important it is to not use this as a way of gaining more power, but to use this to look, and particularly at the federal level, this has shown all the holes in our economy. It has shown all the holes in our justice system. It has shown all the holes in our medical system. If I'm president of the United States, there's an after action report. You military guys know what that is. There's an after action report and says, how do we fix all of these problems? We have holes in our system. Let's fix them all. And we fix them all with non-government options to repair. Non-government options to repair the government problems so that you have more than one option. Decentralization is a critical piece of this. We can do it. This is why I'm trying. Look, more people are washing your hands now than they ever did, right? Now people go, oh, you don't wash your hands, you're horrible. Let's take advantage of these things. We can take advantage to change these things. So anyway, Uber and Lyft drivers are commenting how drastically the amount of riders have decreased. Yeah, how are you going to survive as an Uber driver or Lyft driver, particularly if now people are going to hammer you and try to make you an employee, and Uber now has to cut down how much money you make because they have to pay the government. This is a government money grab. And again, you will have some people who have better jobs, but more people who have none. And that UBI thing is going to come back again and again and again. I'm asking you to talk to your friends, talk to your loved ones, understand it's not about being afraid. Take advantage of this to grow. Take advantage of this to support your local communities, your local civic associations, your local temples and churches. This is your time to step up. Let's take advantage of this if we can. All right. Hold on. The 9/11 babies are graduating right now. There's an opportunity to teach them to adapt and react is being lost to government bailouts. Yes. Oh my God. This is so, thank you for this bailout issue. The answer that everyone has is bailout. Left, right, Democrat, Republican, it's bailout. The question is, how do you bail people out and who do you give money to? That's it. But there's no other answer. How do you give it and who do you give it to? So the answer is things are bad, debt. Things are bad, checks. Things are bad, bailout. I have given you a better option. An option where you're not giving a person the fish, you're teaching a person to fish and giving them the opportunity to react. You're encouraging them to change and shift so that we don't have this problem again. It's like we never learn. We weren't ready last time and we're not ready again. It is terrible. All right, I'll talk to one last question if I could. What do you see happening with fathers who struggle with child support? Another huge issue. How are you going to pay child support if you lose your job? How are you going to pay child support if you're Ubering and Lyfting and have a side hustle to make your child support? You can't. How are you going to do that? I have an idea. Again, take all of those payments to every single financial institution and suspend them for 3 to 6 months. If you don't have to pay your bills and husband or wife or former spouse doesn't have to pay your bills for 3 to 6 months, you're not going to struggle with child support. Just not. You can now make a difference. And judges will understand that. Sorry. Judges should understand that. They may not. But judges should understand at least that now you're not paying. So why would child support be the same? And again, if I'm governor, I'm stepping in to ensure judges do the right thing. The last thing I want, and this is what happens all the time when it comes to father's rights. You got me started on this one. Jeffrey, you got me started. All right, so yes, what child support is, once the father stops paying or can't pay, then it's a horrible cycle. Now your dad is in jail. So you're a son or a daughter, and your mom lost her job, or she can't do her job because she's a server, or she's a gig economy person. So she's struggling. Dad can't pay. Now he's in jail. Boy, your life is good. I wonder why you're growing up in a horrible environment. My point being, if we give us, the American people, all the people in New York State, the opportunity to retool and grow, we can make sure this doesn't happen again. If it does happen again, we're ready for it. That's the issue. UBI, while I know will be more and more popular, people will want it, is a long-term problem. It is a big long-term problem. But if you instead suspend payments for 3 to 6 months, there's a short-term issue that we can recover and gives both businesses and individuals the time to retool, to set themselves up, to get back to where they need to be. All right, I've talked a lot tonight, in the whole hour. I couldn't do Sharpe Way because my studio was shut down because of coronavirus. So, but I didn't want to abandon everybody. I still wanted to talk and give you my ideas so you knew what I was talking about. So I want to say thank you all for watching. I hope it was informative for you. I hope you see that I'm always trying to come up with actual solutions and answers that don't necessarily include more government, that don't punish people, that instead allow people to grow and set us up for the future. I want long-term solutions that support community and individuals and growth, and we can do it. Even in crisis, it can be done. Is it hard? Yes. Is it easy to just go, government, give me a check? It is easier. I know it is. It's just bad for us in the long run, and you can see it. We can grow from this. Let's take advantage of this, and let's grow. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.